Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
One of the things I was excited to talk to you about was not my background. was, we really tried to start with empathy. And as it's beginning to be summertime, a lot to be grateful for. So why don't we start with you? What are you looking forward to doing now that the world is every day getting one shot at a time, getting back to life?
Well, I'm anxious to see all family together again. We had a tradition to join big parts of the family on the holidays, and it's been 2 years now. So
Amazing.
And in the meantime, I lost my grandparents, so family not got together after that. So we are really looking after that. But we are optimistic that to the end of the year we will have a little bit of better environment to live in.
No, I understand that. It is. There's a lot going on, a lot to be grateful for. And seeing friends, seeing new people, not being afraid to go outside. I mean, I'm excited. It's my weekends are seeming to be longer. It's that weekends are getting back to what a weekend should be.
Yeah,
joyful.
Yeah, I love a little bit of outdoors. Outdoor sports, walking. I live in Brazil, so we have a lot of green places here.
I know.
And they are all shut because you can't really have people.
I know. And any plans to get to the US?
Not now. In 2022, maybe I'll go to Florida again to
Good.
an event by Esri. I don't know if you know Esri, but I work for Esri Brazil, and we have an event every year in the US, in California, and in Florida. And I've been at Florida 2 times now in this event, and I'm looking forward for 2022.
Yeah. And as far as technologies that have made your life delightful, right, in this COVID time, for me, it's Miro boards and Slack and Zoom. What technologies have made your life run a little bit easier?
Well, Miro is my first one. Always. It's my go-to technology now. I have also used it a lot of Trello to organize things. I have a team with me, and we are all separated, so we use a lot of Trello, support me, and also Microsoft Teams, because my company uses Teams instead of Zoom, so we use a lot of things.
It's interesting you said that. For me, Miro is like my number one. I mean, I am so delighted by how easy it is to use. I'm delighted by how many people I send a link to that I work with that instantly know how to use it. I mean, it is amazing how you can get your ideas out there and not spend all day trying to perfect a PowerPoint to show a point of view.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, because we are all visuals. We are a visual animal in the end. And Miro is so visual, it's so easy to use. Everyone just gets going. And it's always great.
That's exactly right. It's amazing how many people just say, I haven't used it, and then they're like, I can't live without it. I mean, that is ultimately the product market fit.
Yes.
And I think for me, when you have technologies like that, it's hard to go back to work. So for me, I went back and I had a team meeting, and we just did a 2-day offsite, and it was incredible. Right. it was good to finish a session, then run out to get a drink and still kind of talk about it informally. So I don't know if I need to go back to that type of work, but it's just being able to do an offsite with a couple main conversations was nice. Have you done an offsite yet, or are you getting ready to?
No, we are getting prepared to, not ready yet. But my company, in particular, Imagine in Brazil, just shut down all offices. They will work full time on remote working, except for they maintain now over Brazil, because we have teams all over Brazil. Some places that you can go eventually to do like these offsite meetings. And my team in particular was created by COVID. So we never got an offsite meeting. And now we are trying to. It will be difficult because it's the most diverse team and company. We have one person in each side of Brazil, literally. From my direct partner and me, physically we have 3,000 kilometers distance between us. And we work together every day. But we are planning to bring everyone here at the end of the year or at the beginning of 2022 to have an offsite meeting of the team.
I love that. I absolutely love that. I think we both need it. I think one of the reasons we started the podcast was loneliness. It is just nice to meet a fellow human. Most of my calls are with my team, or the people I see is the people in my community that when I go to the pharmacy or the restaurant, I see the same people. So I like to say I need this maybe more than my guest needs it. It's just nice to see people and connect. I moved from San Francisco to Miami. So when you come to Florida, you make sure you look me up, my friend.
Okay, we will have a drink. I promise that we'll have a drink.
It is nuts what's going on here. Absolutely nuts. It's absolutely nuts. So it's every day. It's crazy. What else? And one other thing is, I've had a feeling, a belief of what the world would be like until June. Everyone was saying June will be back or June will be something. Now I feel like I have more anxiety because I don't know what June to December is going to bring. We all knew June. June's here. Companies are opening. Travel is starting to come back, but it's just I'm still not sure what this whole thing looks like. So it's just more anxiety. What about you? Do you have any feel for June through December, what it's going to be like?
Well, in Brazil, it's time to set up. We are late. We had a lot of political problems here with vaccines, and the news are plenty of it. I will not go in it. But June to December seems to be the time where the political measures finally will come alive.
Yes,
and maybe to the end of the year we'll have major part of population vaccinated, or at least somewhere immunized, somewhere treated, and maybe we are postponing everything to December, because the least time that government says that things will start to come together is October. So because we don't trust them, we started to think in December again.
Right, so you're October, right? You're feeling that same pain.
Yes, I'm on that pain, and for me, October is the hard line now. But in fact, I'm looking forward for January, because I know that before January I will not be able to do many things. So I'm looking forward to January 22.
You also validated my anxiety, right? So we've got clarity till June. Now you have till October. Right now, we're all saying we're pushing it to January. So the question is, do I work from home from June to January? Do I travel? I don't. And then the more I'm not in the office as I do my work, the harder it is to get back to an office. So now it's not a year. Now it's not 18 months. Now it's 2 years working in a specific way. It's kind of hard to pretend that didn't exist.
Yeah, for me
It's
it
4
was easy.
seasons.
I have to say that for me it was easy to adapt. Uh, we in Brazil have a tradition, at least in the middle class, to work long hours and to have two works. I have two works. I work for imaging, and I also have a consultancy that I do outside of imaging. So I always had an office. Here I'm sitting in my office. I always had it.
Right.
I always have a table and a good chair and a good computer to work. So the transition was not that big of a thing for me, because I was already working some days of the week on home office. So it was okay for me. It was okay. It
Right.
was not that great. What is major feel for me, because I work on consultancy and I worked with customers. I worked inside for customers. So I traveled a lot. I mean a lot. I used to spend 3 days of the week outside my house and my city, in fact. And now I'm not leaving my home. Not much leaving my home until I go to the I have a little plaza near my block here, and that's all. That's the most I travel, and that's a big field.
Huge.
But also, one thing that was good for me, that helped me relieve some anxiety, is that my wife was pregnant in 19. So
Congratulations.
she gave birth in January 2020. And
I mean, you got the time of your life to spend with someone you wouldn't. I mean, that's amazing. That's winning. Being able to spend that much time with a newborn, congratulations.
Yes, and that was great, because I never imagined that. I always try to think that I would have some time with the babies. I would love to see they grow.
Yep.
With my scheduling, I never thought that I would really see them evolve, see them say the first word, see they walk the first steps, see they try to climb my dinner table and fall down because they did it this week. And that's it, man. I'm able to see that. So when people say to me, "Oh, that's the worst time of my life,"
how many diapers did you change?
Well, they are twins, so
as long as you helped out, that's good. As long as you helped
a lot. I have to say a lot. In 1 week in particular, me and my wife marked down all the diapers we changed, and it ends up summing something around the 80. It was a lot in 1 week.
I mean, it is. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, and what I've seen is that there are some, and I've talked about this, there are some winners and some unfortunate losers, not people, just industries and moments. And winning moments is being able to spend time with the kids. That's a win, right? What I've seen through the COVID-19 is there's just no middle anymore. You're either winning big and getting moments that are just incredible moments, or you lose. So these are like those win moments. Spending time with the baby, the smell, the watching, and all these things. That's a win.
Yes, that's a big win. I have to say I'm fortunate enough to have this big win with me.
Yeah,
and I'm very happy with that.
No, absolutely, and not a bad person to stay home with for a year.
Yes,
not
at all.
Not at all.
How are you coping with that? You guys in US, I have some friends there and I talked to them. I have friends in California because I spent some time there. Have some friends in Miami, Florida, and also a little bit to the north in Orlando region. And I have also a friend in Boston, and they are a little anxious, but they are all very optimistic with the return of normal life. Yes. All normal can see.
Yeah, it's nuts in Florida. It's absolutely nuts. The state is open, but I think what I'm seeing right now, it's open for a lot of visitors to come and hang out and party, right? So people are moving down here, which is great. People are vacationing here. But they're still working remote. You don't get the sense that Amazon just opened up a warehouse here or a company here and they're hiring. So like not one company is hiring 10,000 people in Florida. Not one company is hiring 50,000 people. You've got 50,000 people coming in from individual companies all working remote. So it's an interesting place. I mean, some companies are starting to move down. That is a truth that they are. But if I look at the big heat map, a lot of it are just individual people just moving. I almost feel like the biggest remote work group is here, Texas, and then in foreign countries, right? It's like we are all working remote. It's the same feel.
Yes.
So it's you see the people, but you don't see the traffic. You see the people, but you're not going into downtown to see the coffee shop surviving. So it's very interesting. Again, the winners or losers. It's still building, if you will. That's what I see here.
Yeah.
And when I walk and I listen to people talk, everyone that I see in an elevator at a restaurant is always like, I told my boss, I'm not going to go back to New Jersey. I told my boss, I'm not going back to Chicago. Like, I'm not going back to, but so it's like, I hear it. I'm like, oh, everyone is just working remote from their boss and they're living their best self. So it's very interesting. That's what we're seeing. And what are you seeing by you? Are you seeing a lot of people come into your city?
In fact, I see a lot of people going out of my city because,
right.
Yes, I'm on São Paulo area. São Paulo, big city in Brazil. And São José, that's the city I live in, it's very close. In my company, most of people came from other sites to here to work in this company. Yep. When we got remote, I talked to people, friends that we used to hang out together, and they are thousands of kilometers away now. And they just said exactly what you said. No, I don't intend to go back to San Jose. I don't intend to go back to this madness. I will be here myself for the rest of my life.
Yep, it's hard to go back. And there are certain cities I want to get to, but because of, there's certain international cities I want to get to that you just can't get to yet. It's just the quarantine in, and I understand that. So they'll be probably just for me, like you said, a little bit more domestic travel and figuring it out. But yeah, like I said, like we talked about just when we started, I had visibility till June, you have visibility till October, but it's like we're all saying, I guess it's January, but now it's a long time. And it's just, think about your boy or your child will be now 1 full year. No, 2 years.
2 years.
2 years. Just think about that. Like you got to spend the first two. That's your best guess. Winning. I'll say it again. That's winning. And I want you to spend more time. That is, the children are going to be better for this. You'll have less sleep, but they'll be better for it.
I used to get very little sleep, so not that much of a problem now.
Exactly. No, exactly. Well, listen, Victor, this was a treat to speak to a new friend, a friend in another country. It just shows you how small the world gets. And today it's a little bit smaller. So I appreciate you spending time with us.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And there are going to be some people in the community that I want to connect you with. So I'll connect with you with LinkedIn, and we're going to keep building out these relationships. And one day we're going to have a big party.
Okay. Let's do it. Let's do a big party.
In Miami. All right, Victor.
Yes, in Miami, because Miami is very good.
That's right. Thanks, Victor. Thanks for everything. Thanks for being on the show.
No problem. Thank you very much.